Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, we have had some great examples in this state without this legislation passing of good school districts like Fort Worth and Dripping Springs who have done exactly what Representative Gonzalez and Representative Villalba have said. They have taken care of that child who felt they needed special accommodations and special attention, and the parents and the kids and the administration work together to do the right thing for those children. This amendment has turned a fine bill about school emergency procedures into a harmful one about where children use the bathroom. This is just more red meat for the base, more red meat for the March voter at the expense of kids. Trans children, and I know some of you are in the gallery today with your parents, are not causing problems in restrooms. But we do have plenty of evidence to know that transgender kids are the ones that are being targeted. While in grades K through 12, 78% of trans students reported high rates of harassment. 35% have reported physical assault. Already, we know that 44% of trans students felt unsafe at school as a result of their gender expression as identity. Due to this fear, 30% skipped at least one day of school. This bill doesn't make anyone feel safer or ensure privacy. Instead, it makes sure we have separate facilities for trans children, or painting a target on the back of kids who already are far more likely than you or me to face violence. Yesterday, we heard that there was white smoke at the conference committee surrounding the negotiations around our budget, and that we had found agreement on the 2-year budget. I'm not a political genius, but it seems to me that the budget agreement was done with this amendment in mind. And to speak frankly, we are getting rolled by the Senate, and trans children are a part of that bargain. Texas has important priorities to deal with, and we have done good things across party lines. Representative Price has shown us that to be true with his critical work and these interim committee as well on mental health care. Representative Coleman led us on the Sandra Bland Act. We made a small dent in how we are solidifying our retired teachers, thanks to Representative Ashby. But we have so much more work to do that has nothing whatsoever to do with bathrooms. Our foster care system is still unconstitutional. Our public school finance system still has the label of Byzantine. We lose 30 people a day due to the opioid abuse problem, and this shows no signs of letting up. I don't mean to minimize any of the good things we have accomplished this session. However, we are allowing a small portion of the electorate to waste the House's time simply to ensure that the base has plenty of red meat. When we are compelled to say, hey, we want our red meat about bathrooms, or our red meat showing restricted abortion access, or our red meat demonizing immigrants, we don't serve Texas well. These days are not good days for the state that we love and the institution that we serve. These are not good days for Texans. School lunches for children. School lunches for children. So we have a lot of work to do. This topic that we're dealing with right now is not one of those items. I hope that Texas is watching tonight. I appreciate y'all's attention on this
Mr. Speaker,
on this issue.
Would the gentlelady yield?
Representative Israel.
Yes, I will yield.
Lady yields.
Thank you, Representative Israel. I'm looking at Representative Patty's amendment, and we heard the comments of some of our colleagues, our neighbor, Representative Gonzalez, as well as Villalba, talking about all the other students that might be able to benefit from this kind of an amendment. And certainly you and I would agree that if students have a reason to not want to use the bathroom, that they should have some accommodation. If they have a colostomy bag, or if they have any kind of a reason, we're going to try to accommodate our children, are we not?
We are, and I think we do that.
Already.
Our engaged parents with children who have needs and attention, and their teachers who care for them so much, and the administration that understands that each school is its own community, and we need to take care of those children, are doing that job without this bill. And my concern is that this bill is sending a message to those who might have division in their hearts, that, that it's okay to single out those kids to say, I don't want my kid going to the bathroom with that kid. And we don't need any of that. We've shown, I'm very proud, if anyone is watching from the Fort Worth or Dripping Springs School District, I'm very proud of the fact that they have come together and shown us that they have done a very able job of looking after our children, regardless of
So your concern
status.
about this is that despite what we just heard from those colleagues of ours, that this is still discriminatory. Is that correct?
That is my concern, Representative Howard.
Would you have remembered that in the particular language here, it says, it talks about the ensuring that the schools blah, blah, blah. Let me get to the point where by requiring the provision of single occupancy facilities for use by a student who does not wish to use the facilities designated for use or commonly used by persons of the student's biological sex. Why is it referring to biological sex if it has to do with something such as colostomy bags?
I will point us back to the larger political issues that we've been dealing with in our struggle with the House and the Senate and the unfortunate history of politics right now.
So indeed, this is actually singling out a particular student, and in this case, we're talking about transgender students.
Yes.
And so in that sense, we are looking at this as being discriminatory.
Yes, I see it as discriminatory, harmful, singling out children, and singling them out for the sake of politics.
Thank you.
Yeah, there is also the possibility that, as Ms. T was mentioning, that not all of our schools have the same facilities, and some of these kids, believe it or not, will just simply not use the restroom and wait, and that's not helpful to their bodies. So thank you all very much for listening.